forest. They may look like apes, but these are long-lost relatives of ours. They're Australopithecines. They have clever hands and cautious natures. As the forests of Africa were replaced by grasslands, our ancestors were evolving side by side with other large animals, the megafauna. The Dinotherium was the largest animal our Australopithecine ancestors would meet. An early relative of elephants, Dinotherium was as tall as a modern giraffe and 14 times as heavy. Even a young one could scare off adult Australopithecines, lightly built and barely 4 feet tall. Other animals have changed little over the past 3 million years. We'd recognize them and be wary of them. The big cats were out in force. This is Dinofelis, the scimitar cat, a relative of the saber-tooth and the modern jaguar. Its hunting method is stalk and ambush. For our ancestors, living with these animals was a serious business. Far from dominating the scene, these small ape-like creatures were more often the hapless prey. The scimitar cat drags the carcass of the female away from the site of the kill and will probably stash it in a tree, safe from scavengers. But Australopithecines were not altogether helpless. Modern-day apes can throw, and our ancestors could use the same kind of scare tactics. Working together as a group is their best protection. Early humans were physically no match for large predators, but our brains and our social bonds made us strong. Millions of years would pass before we became ourselves, fully modern human beings with big brains and inventive behavior, but our journey as a species had begun. On the African continent, our relatives